pulling up the carrots today. This is very nearly the last of the harvesting, actually. I spent all weekend, well not all weekend, I spent most of last weekend busy harvesting here last week. The carrots, I could leave them in longer, but I'm sort of on a bit of a roll, getting everything all chopped up and put in the freezer at the moment. And I'll show you all of that later on as well. So yeah, carrots out today. I wish I kept my seed packets, because these are a bit on the pencil thin side. I can't remember what variety they were, unfortunately, so as not to get them again, but I'm used to growing carrots twice that thick, you know. They'll do anyway, they're perfectly adequate and they'll be delicious. The sweet corn all came out last weekend. Now there wasn't that much of it. The pollination was pretty bad. When you opened the cobs up, there were lots of basically unswollen white kernels in there which hadn't been pollinated, and that's down to the weather. There were a few decent ones. I ate a couple, we had a few at home, I handed the rest out to family. I do find with sweet corn, you can freeze it, I have done in the past, but it tastes nothing like what it should do when it's fresh, once it's been frozen. So I don't bother, I just eat it fresh, have what I've got. The butternut squashes here, these are going to be the last of my crops. You can see everything else now, it's all been taken out. I'm still waiting for the butternut squashes, and I was beginning to think we weren't going to get anywhere this year, but they're coming through. It's the last week of September, very nearly the end of September. So if we get reasonable weather through October, which isn't unheard of, we might just get a few butternut squashes. I'll turn them all into soup, basically. So the main crop potatoes came out. They're at home. I'll show you those later. What was in here? I can't remember what was in here now. Oh, that was the second early potatoes. They're long gone. All the onions are out. They're all done, chopped up and frozen. Tomatoes are ripening rapidly as we speak. I've got bags and bags of them already frozen. I'll be taking another decent sized batch today. Still coming along. Peppers, sweet peppers, they're all done. Cucumbers are finishing. You can see the leaves are starting to turn now on the cucumbers. One or two scrappy little ones just hanging on there. Give these to the chickens. So cucumbers are done. All the sweet peppers here have been stripped of their fruit. There was absolutely loads of them. I think I ended up with over 100 sweet peppers. I took them when they were green, because just as they were starting to go red, they were also starting to rot. And what I found, these red ones that were rotting, they had insects in them. They had little holes with insects in them. There was woodlice and earwigs and all sorts in there. So what I deduced from that, I don't know if I'm right or not, but what seemed to be happening was, of course, as they ripen and turn red, they get quite soft, and maybe they also become more attractive to insects. So I just took, I left those few red ones that had gone a bit off, and I took the whole lot when they were all still green, because they didn't have any insects in them. They're lovely green, they're fine, I don't mind them at all. But that's what I did anyway, because I didn't want to just lose the whole lot for the sake of having pretty red ones, you know. I've just mowed. Where are we? Oh. I've been eating figs as well, and there's another one coming through just there. I love figs. Oh, that's soft as anything. I'll eat that today. Lovely, lovely. I've just mowed your plot, Chris. It needed doing, because it was sort of getting to that stage where if we'd left it another week or two, it would have been quite a job to do. So I just quickly whizzed over it all today. That'll keep it at bay for another couple of weeks. I won't talk about the cauliflowers. Swede, I'm really hoping, let's have a little look. I'm really hoping to take some swede home with me today as well. I'll just get under that netting and have a look. Oh dear. Move along. Beautiful they are, look. And when they're ripe enough, you can just take the peel straight off. I love figs, they're so easy to grow as well. People think they're tropical, but they do pretty well here. The strawberry bed is thick with new runners, so I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to get the rest of my carrots out and take them home. But soon I need to go through that and separate all the runners ready for next year's. The asparagus is going to need cutting back, but not just yet because it's not dying back yet. Once it starts going brown, snip all that back to the ground. And we had quite a lot of the Asparagus Beetle on there this year. Now either the pupae or the eggs, something, overwinters in the mulch around the bottom of the plants. And I saw a really good method of dealing with it actually. Some American guy on YouTube, once they were all cut back, during the winter, he went over it all with his blowtorch. And I think that would work quite well here because you've got all this sawdust, wood shavings on the surface. The crowns of the plants themselves are sitting they're sitting deep under that. The crowns of the plants are sitting a good 5 or 6 inches at least below that surface. So come the winter, I'm going to whiz over it all with my blowtorch and hopefully kill off next year's brood of asparagus beetles. Right, so I'm going to get the rest of my carrots out. I don't want to spend too long doing that. There's no need for it to take long. When I've got those out, I'm going to ferry them all home and I'll start showing you my prepper stash of frozen winter goods. Squirrels have been coming and getting drunk on the rotting fallen apples, and these two think they're going to catch one. Not like that, you're not. I thought you were an ambush predator. I thought something seemed a bit not right about these carrots when I was pulling them out, because I was getting these long thin ones which I don't buy. You know, I wasn't sure what was going on. And then what I realised was, out of the one packet of seed that I'd sown, I was getting 3 distinct type of carrots. You got these long thin ones, you got these little stump rooted ones, and yellow ones. So that packet of seed, I think that was something like the sweepings out the bottom of the packing machine. It had a bit of everything in it. I wouldn't normally grow these sorts of carrots, and it's just as well I didn't bother entering the show, because there's, you know, the village show. There was nothing worth putting in out of that lot. But they smell gorgeous. They're going to taste so nice. What I'm going to do with these now, I'm going to give them, I've topped and tailed them at the allotment just so that it could all go straight on the heap, rather than have to chop it all up at home and carry it up there. I topped and tailed them all, so I need to give them a wash, slice them all up, and then I'll part boil them. Is it parboil, I think is the term? It's part boiled, isn't it really? And then I'll stick them in the freezer, and they'll go in stews and soups and all the rest of it. I've got another load of tomatoes to skin and reduce and bag up. Now the main crop potatoes that are having dry storage, I'm going to put them in the garage because the shed gets a bit hot. But for now, they're all sitting in here. Oh, the bags are keeping a light off them. Lots of the pink fir apples in there as well. Oh, sorry, my throat's gone. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good, voice is back to normal. Oh, nearly. Right, so that's the dry storage potatoes down there. When you're dry storing potatoes, you really only want to store ones which are perfect. Anything that's got a hole in it or a split in it, you can't store that. It will go off and it'll end up making the others go off as well. So we've got 2 freezers out here in the shed, and all of those potatoes which Oh, that's onions. Where's the potato? No, that's potatoes. No, that's onions. Right. All those potatoes which weren't perfect. All of those potatoes which weren't perfect. They all got chopped up, part boiled. That's them there, I can't pull them out, they're wedged in so tight. There's quite a few bags of boiled potatoes basically, and they're going to be for mash. You wouldn't want to do much else with them once they've been frozen, but for mash they're absolutely fine. So those potatoes that wouldn't store didn't get wasted. They got put in the freezer, and lots of lovely mash to come from them. This is where the green peppers all went. There's no boiling or anything involved with them. You just core them, chop them up, stick them in bags in the freezer. Tomatoes, as you can see, I take the skins off. You do that by putting them in a big pan and pouring boiling water over them. You leave them for 5 or 10 minutes and the skins all split and they just peel away. I've still got allotment hands. The skins just peel away. And then you reduce them down in the pan, just simmer them for about 10 minutes. And this is basically exactly what you get in a can of tinned tomatoes. Now these just keep coming and coming. I'm doing a few every week as the tomatoes come along. There's more in the back there. What else have I got? I've got sloe berries off the trees, ready to make some sloe gin and some sloe vodka. The garlic. This is where my garlic all ended up. What I do, I used to dry store garlic, but there were risks when you dry storing stuff. I've just decided over the years to take it easy and cut out the risks, so I freeze things now instead. The garlic, I just put it in a blender. I peel them, chop them up, stick them in a blender with just a little drizzle of oil, and make them into a paste. And then you freeze the paste. I've got bags and bags and bags of it. Lovely fresh garlic. And the onions are in here as well. I'll put this all back later. That's all full of chopped onions. Again, you can dry store onions, but I have had disasters in the past where 1 or 2 go off. And if you're not keeping an eye on things, it'll make the whole lot go off. So, yay for freezers, as long as we have a grid to depend on. So there you go then, quick autumn catch up on the plot, and a quick little look at what I do with most of my produce. I used to dry store a lot more stuff, but there are risks involved, so while you've got a freezer, whilst we can use freezers, I do. Right, I'll see you next weekend. I'll be going walking somewhere. Have a good week. I'll try. Who's dug herself a little pit to sit in? You having fun down there?